Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skibowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Morning.
Good morning. I know it. It's cold.
It's cold.
I need to. I was looking for my thicker pants
need your
today.
Thicker pants.
Yes.
I got the long sleeve fleece thing. Weather has definitely changed. It's definitely
changing.
that time of year.
Had trick or treating earlier this week. And
chilly.
Cold and snowy and. And actually, Matt Rutkin was predicting like there could be like some I don't know if whiteout conditions was the proper thing, but reduced visibility. And it happened.
It happened.
But in little spurts. I guess.
I don't know if it was the cold or what, but we did not have that many trick or treaters. I don't know. I mean, I haven't done a analysis on what went on, but. Yeah. We did not have near as many kids as what we normally do, but it was cold and I get it. I mean, and there were whiteout conditions. I mean, it was snowing like nobody's business there at the start of it. Then the sun came out. It was
right.
Who knows?
And then it changed. I mean, well, at my house, so the snow hit back around, I don't know, it was like something like 7 o'clock ish or so. And the kids, they stayed. They ran to their cars for a little bit, and then they came back out. So it didn't stop.
Well, it's that time of year. Leaves are falling.
Yes,
it's getting colder.
Yep.
So even though we talk about real estate, this is taking care of your existing real estate, right? What do we need to do in the fall? I mean, most people know, but not everybody. You know, you got to get your house ready for the change in the season.
Yeah, you do.
Definitely recommend have your furnace checked out.
Yeah.
Nothing worse. And this is the guy who just had one of his furnaces replaced. I mean, we have a two-story house, so the second furnace, I mean, it made it 23 years, and then it finally crashed.
Oh, okay.
It was done. Carbon monoxide level was higher than where it's supposed to be. Ooh. So, I mean, it was still working. Yeah. But it'd be one of those you wake up, you know, you don't wake up one day.
Oh, that's not good, no.
So we have somebody come out and service it twice a year. You know, we do it in the spring, we do it in the fall. If you don't have a professional come out and do it, at least change your furnace filter. That's a good time.
Right.
The other thing this time of year when you're changing that furnace filter, change the batteries in your smoke detectors.
Good idea.
Because those will last about a year.
Yeah.
Some last a lot longer, but it's that 3 a.m. chirping when you've got more than one smoke detector trying to figure out which one's bad.
Right.
And it just reminded me because our furnace went. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, it wasn't 3 a.m. I walked in the door and I heard the chirp.
Oh, really?
Know, and then you're like, which one is it? Which one is it? Found it, changed them all.
Yeah, change them all.
Change them all. Don't just do the one because the one is going to become more. So, you know, if you don't have your furnace serviced, which I highly recommend you do, get somebody to come out and service it. Change that filter at a minimum for yourself. And if you've got a humidifier, one thing I had forgot to do for years, the humidifier, they've got pads in them, many of them do, that build up with calcium, which if you don't clean that, ultimately you get a leak, they'll plug, and now you're pouring water into that and it leaks. So.
You know, but talking about the furnace filters, I was just talking to somebody here the other day, kid you not, and so they were changing the furnace filter that they knew about.
Sure.
But the furnace actually took 2 filters. So there was one that wasn't changed for like 12 years. And when they pulled it out, it was nasty.
Nasty.
And it's like your furnace will work so much better when you change those on a regular basis.
Absolutely. And along with the humidifier, same deal. If you change that pad, does a humidifier work? Because, you know, you can really dry your house out.
Yeah.
If you've got gas forced air, that it's really dry. It dries the air out, which, you know, you get kids with noses running and it's all, you just feel stuffy and all dried out. Keep it moist. Keep that humidifier working.
Yeah.
So, you know, in our area, a lot of folks on the lakes, right? So you're seeing, and you have been seeing, if you haven't pulled it yourself, although I haven't been in the water myself in a while.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's pretty chilly because of the steam that's coming off of the lakes.
Yeah.
Get your piers out, get your lifts out, get your boats out, jet skis, paddle boards, kayaks, get all that stuff put away. It's that time of year. And the importance on the piers, you know, because I get asked, selling lake homes, we get asked that, well, do you have to take that out? Yes, you do in many cases because the ice actually moves. We don't think about that. You look at a frozen lake and you go, oh, it's just solid. Well, that ice actually shifts on the lake, and if you've got your piers still in the water, it bends those piers. So the next year you will have an issue. It bends the posts that hold the piers.
Yeah.
So I purchased a pier when we first moved here from a neighbor a couple of doors down that he had left the hoist in the water all winter.
Oh boy.
So I purchased a damaged product. I mean,
Yeah.
I fixed it,
Yeah.
but it was aluminum, and that ice, that's amazing, the strength of Mother Nature when she wants to be, right?
Yeah.
That ice, it shifted, it bent, it damaged, it broke the aluminum up. I mean, I had to fix it. Got a reasonable price on the hoist. It was a good deal for me, but I had to put parts in it.
Okay.
But, and then pull it out every year. So get your furnace checked out, get your lake stuff out of the water, winterize those lake toys, whether you have somebody else do it or not. You don't want to just pull it out, leave it sit in the garage and freeze, right? Because boats have got typically water that can get in areas that if you don't get it all out, you don't winterize it properly, the next spring you're going to be not real happy when you go to fire that boat up and water leaks all over the place or whatever.
Right.
Outboards, not so much, but an inboard or a stern drive boat, an IO boat, those motors need to be winterized. So outboards, and I don't pretend to be an expert on this. This is 40 years of doing it myself.
Yeah.
Experience coming out there. Make sure you get that stuff winterized so you don't get an unhappy surprise in the spring. Spring. So, and after the break, we'll talk about some other tips for getting your house and the toys and all that other stuff ready for the winter.
Sounds good. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skibowski of Remax Lakes, and we're talking about winterizing your home, getting it ready for wintertime.
Getting it ready for the winter. We've talked primarily about stuff outside of the home, and we're going to continue that trend with your lawn. Leaves. Rake your leaves.
Oh boy. It's, and I just did it last weekend. I'll be doing it again this weekend.
Yes.
It's like, it looks like from last weekend when that, on Sunday afternoon, the yard looked great.
Yeah, and then Monday?
Well, I know, right. Trick-or-treaters, they're walking through leaves, kicking leaves all over the place because, it just, a couple of days, more leaves are down.
Yeah,
so it's hard to keep up.
So you got your yard to worry about, but you also need to worry about your gutters. Even if you have gutter guards. I've got the gutter guards on mine that have got slits in them, so in the spring of the year, the maple spinners land in it, stick in them, whatever.
Yeah.
So those are all cleaned out in the spring, but the leaves sit on there. The problem you run into, why are getting your leaves out of your gutters so important, or out of the crevices and valleys, is they rain, then they freeze. It damages your shingles over time, which ultimately could lead to leaks.
Yeah.
And if your gutters are plugged, where's the water going to go? It's got nowhere to go. It's going to go back up into your roof, sometimes underneath the shingles, if it gets through there, especially if you build up those ice dams. So it's important that you clean those out. Clean your yard. I know it's a pain because I've done mine twice.
Yeah.
And now I looked out there and there it is just covered. There's no green.
Yeah.
There's no brown green grass. There are leaves.
Yeah.
And there's still more hanging up there.
Oh yeah.
So I've got more to do. But it's important that you do that. And a lot of people fertilize their yards this time of year.
Yeah.
To get it ready for spring. Because I guess the grass, again, don't pretend to be a horticulturist or whatever, but the grass went dormant. So putting fertilizer on there helps it spring up and be better in the spring.
Yeah.
Helps it grow much faster in the spring. So, and if you're listing your house this time of year, if you're putting your house on the market, it's that curb appeal. And this might sound like dirty pool, but if I walk up to a house and it's full of leaves, my thought is this isn't a place for me because I do not like raking leaves.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you've got a lot of leaves, for some people that's a turnoff.
Yeah.
So you're tricking them. get all those leaves down there. So that if they're a guy like me or a gal walks up to the house and goes, man, I don't want to rake all these leaves.
Yeah.
I've taken that out of the equation. It's like, wow, look how gorgeous this yard looks.
Right.
Don't even look at the trees that are around you because all those leaves were here.
Yeah.
They're in the yard. So it's dirty pool, but clean them up.
Yeah.
So make sure you winterize your sprinkler system. If you haven't done it already, it needs to be done. We've had some pretty cold nights, but I doubt, it's going to freeze the sprinkler system yet because the ground isn't frozen, but it will. So winterize that sprinkler system. I guess again, I don't pretend to be a gardener by any means, but planting spring bulbs. You can do that stuff now. You trim the bushes, you trim your flowers, and plant whatever stuff that's going to come up in the spring. Get it before the ground's frozen.
That's true.
Because
That's
otherwise
very true.
you're sledgehammer and doing all that stuff. If you've got plants in pots and you want them to survive, if they're not annuals and they're perennials, get them inside, because they're not feeling too happy as they're sitting outside in that cold right now.
Yeah.
Check your windows and doors for leaks. Now's the time to get your house ready for winter. And back in the old days when we had storm windows and stuff, people went around and they still sell it at Walmart. You can buy it on Amazon, that window film. If you've got, less than optimal window coverage, you can buy that stuff to help prevent air blowing through those windows. Saves on your heating bill.
It certainly does. And even those little things, they look like snakes or whatever, you can put them in between the doors and so forth. That saves a lot of money on that heating bill.
Yeah, stop those drafts. As you're sitting in the living room and the draft's blowing across the floor, that thing that looks like a snake, if you can cover those doors up, why not? De-winterize your snowblower. It's really early, but now's the time. If you go to fire that snowblower up and it won't run, you still have time, I hope, to get it in somewhere, and get it, running if it doesn't run. If you have a snowblower, if you need it. If not, find your snow shovel. Every year we move things around, and it's like, where'd it go? I don't know. Because we have a storage unit, so we put stuff in storage, and then we move the fall, winter stuff back. I'm bringing that snow shovel home.
Yes.
So I've got it just in case, because we get that first day. Gotta have it. So de-winterize your snowblower, winterize your lawn equipment, winterize your, stabilize the fuel if you don't drain it all away. I know there's been a lot of improvement to stable and that stuff, these gas additives, to where it doesn't gum up your carburetors and fuel injectors the following year. But if you don't stabilize it, at least run all the gas out of it. Start the mower up, let her run out of gas.
Well, I'm hoping we have a few more warm days so I can pick up these leaves with my lawnmower.
At least one or two.
Yeah.
At least one or two. And, I guess the other thing, and I will finish up on this, but I went into a house that we're getting ready to close on. And it was vacant. And they didn't have the heat on. And it was down, it was probably about 50, 48. I mean, houses will hold heat for a long time.
Sure.
But at some point, if you have a property that's listed and it's vacant, make sure you have the heat set. At least where it's on. It doesn't have to be set at, a comfortable 70 degrees, but you also don't want to freeze the water lines. And I mean, we've had enough mornings, unlikely you're going to freeze. It takes a good solid freeze for a long time to do that in a house. But if you've got your property listed and it's vacant, at least be thinking about that. Make sure you turn the heat on.
Good information for sure.
Well, we try.
All right. Hey, contact information?
Sure. Our website, skibowskiteam.com. Phone number is 574-527-0660. Can always email me at mark@skibowskiteam.com. Happy to help.
All right, very good. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.